Welcome back, everyone. We're cruising along with today now because we still have another series to be playing through. As of course, we have Team Fish Taco going up against LiT Esports.
You're not allowed to make the joke again. Just saying that right now.
What joke, Alex? What joke?
You know exactly
what
what
joke?
Look at me.
Joke?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't.
I don't know. If you're not telling me what I'm doing wrong here, it smells a little fishy, you know? Seems a little fishy. But we're gonna talk fishy. Well, let's start looking at today's match. I only do this because I know you hate it, Magical. It's the only reason. But hey, we gotta talk about our teams trying to keep their spot here in the NACL, and of course we have to look at Team Fish Taco here, Joshi.
Yeah, and Team Fish Taco has been a team that has been a little bit all over the place throughout the course of this split, right? It was a team that had a lot of opportunities to have strong early games, but unfortunately there was oftentimes the Team Fish Taco moment where things suddenly started going wrong. It was way more difficult for them to bring it back from those spots, but they have been a team that has a lot of individual talent. It's all about bringing it to bear at the right time.
100%. And when we talked about this earlier, but each team going on forward, a couple of different motivations at this point of the competition when you're looking at this promotion tournament, whether we get to see people that are just having fun like LiT Esports on the other side, or what's really driving the team. Onat actually shared a couple of thoughts of his driving factors looking ahead at this promotion tournament.
I'm upset that we're even in this tournament to begin with. And none of the opponents are, some of them are even people I beat like last split on Supernova. And they gave me some of my highlights, so I'm not scared at all.
How much would you say anger is fueling your team through this tournament?
Oh, it's fueling me for sure. I don't know about like the rest of them. I think I got the most fire right now out of my team. So I would say for me, it's like anger. Like, I don't even want to be in this tournament. I think it's like disgraceful to our to like how we are as players and what we could have been as a team over the split. So definitely a lot of anger. I think it fits perfectly actually.
That's some big words that is a disgrace for the team to be having to play their way through this type of tournament, Alex.
I mean, that's one thing that's always great about Onat. He gives you some solid interviews and some solid quotes, right? This guy has an ego, but oftentimes he's able to kind of show it and show that he's able to make a lot of those plays, especially if we look at the Gragas play that he had back when he was on Supernova. His Ari play was something that we always praised and said that he did really well at. Of course, we just want to see him expand outside of that and really be the guy. This is the time for him to prove, yeah, I deserve to be in NACL. I'm going to continue to grow, and I am going to be the guy to focus on.
Well, at that point, too, if we're Team Fish Taco, there is everything to prove. Whereas looking on the other side, when we're looking at LiT Esports, I feel like there is a weight off of their shoulders when you're looking ahead. Because this was a team, Joshi, that coming into it, I mean, the expectations weren't quite there for a lot of people. And they're making their way through this.
I mean, we even heard from some of their members, we need to kind of get lucky to even get past Mirage. And this is definitely a spot where, whether they got lucky or not, they made it past Mirage already. And this is a spot where I don't think there's nearly as much weight on their shoulders, right? With not a lot of large expectations going into this organization, they can just play, and that means that they don't need to worry about it at all. They don't have the same kind of pressure, and that allows them to go for things that other teams would never be willing to.
Yeah, and on the other side of things, after their win that they had in that first round, Cubby got to sit down with Rocktham to talk a little bit, and the vibes are good over there. As of course, new facility and everything seeming to go right for LiT Esports at this point. Let's check this out.
My aspirations is to go pro. That's my main goal. I want to get there, and to be honest, I couldn't like a year ago. St. Clair was the only school that really gave me an opportunity, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it, right? And then I came to school here, and for me, coming in person was a big difference for me. Just being around all esport people, because I was always at home, in my dungeon playing solo queue every day, But being in a facility, having teammates around you all the time was just made me love the game more. And with that, I kind of improved a lot with that. So I feel like this year, just getting in person just helped me so much.
And honestly, Rockboom is a player who, I'll admit it, I had no idea who this player was before they joined LiT Esports halfway through the qualifiers. But honestly, the way that we've been seeing them play and the rapidity with which they have really stepped onto the stage has been shocking. I have yet to see a bad game from this player, even when LiT Esports are not necessarily winning. Rockboom is still having good games. Hope to see even more of that coming.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see more wins, especially too that the vibes this team's having. Well, I mean, over the last win too, we got to see the upset yesterday. And of course, it's always fun to take a little bit of a peek into the comms and how things are playing out. So when they're taking the win, well, let's see what they had to say.
Zaya.
I couldn't kill her.
I'm on driving.
I'm done. Can we kill
Jarvan's
Jarvan?
dead. Jarvan's dead.
Yeah.
Play with me. Play with me. Play with Azir. We can end.
Haircut's now. Kill him.
Nice.
Nice.
The Rockman's gonna kill. Ziggs is dead.
I'm fine.
It's just Saya.
I'm dead. It's just
Hey,
Zaya. It's just Zaya.
Why is
It's
he
literally just
alive,
Zaya.
bro?
Looks on.
Go good!
Nice!
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 Oh, good shit, Rocco! Nice!
Nice!
Rockboom, you guys so good. Jesus
Holy
Christ.
shit, baby! Nice!
Good job, man.
And you know what's funny is in Twitch chat, I was there watching this game, and before the series even said, I said, if LiT Esports win here against Mirage, they're winning all of the promotion tournament. They're qualifying, and they 2-0'd them. They went and 2-0'd them, and you can hear the excitement in these players. And that's, I think, why I'm so excited about players like this, where they kind of come in, they didn't have the most expectations. Like Dragoon, Kisno, maybe we should have had more expectations of them as players since they were on Supernova when Supernova promoted. But Rockboom's also a player who played on Rock Bottom Esports, got second place in the OQs back in spring, and was a player that I was actually really excited about. I was really sad that he didn't make it to the promotion tournament then, but now we're going to see why he's been such an exciting player.
Before we move on, I do want to give a quick shout out to one. It, remind me a little bit of Cincinnati Fear with the way that they were talking, but I also want to give a shout out to whoever edited that video. You got most of them.
You got most of them. I was waiting.
It's hard.
I knew our producer had to be editing that video. I was waiting for the beeps. Was not disappointed at the end. But Magical,
more beeps.
You're talking about people that we needed to look at a little bit more on this team, and Dragoon is definitely someone we need to be talking about, especially to the momentum that Dragoon was able to give this team yesterday after this pentakill. What Dragoon's been able to do for the squad, it has been great for keeping that great spirits that LiT Esports has going on in this.
Yeah, I had a great time talking to Dragoon before the series actually started, asking him about what was going on, and I think the line that has become famous for this player, I have been playing more Baldur's Gate than League of Legends recently. If you lose to me, you should be embarrassed. And so they were able to take down Mirage Alliance relatively cleanly. Now they're going up against Team Talk.
That's not fair because he got to play his Darius in one of them. Like, this is what he's been known for years. It's like second nature to him. He can probably do it in his sleep.
Then there's gonna be, at this point, if Dario is talking about, the embarrassment if anyone loses to someone who's putting in, I think, like, so many, over 100 hours in Baldur's Gate 3 at this point. Well, then we gotta be looking at how Lunacia is gonna be performing going on into today's series, as we get to see a little bit of what Lunacia has been able to offer, especially to Lunacia. Alex, this is a player that just came back into things right before this tournament starts. That is also extra pressure there.
Well, Lunacia is one of these players that we're really excited about after we saw how well he performed on FlyFam back in spring. And we knew that this guy, after that point, was a great top lane talent who could pretty much go toe-to-toe against anyone. We just saw in that clip that he was able to beat Quacker with his Olaf. Like, Lunacia is a very solid player, and I really do think that this is going to be a fun matchup dependent on what Dragoon's going to play up against Lunacia. Because we know Lunacia, the Jax, the Olaf, these type of champions that he likes to play, but then you got that Darius for Dragoon. Like, does he pull that out here against Lunacia?
Tough one, right? Like, there's a lot going through, but we get to see. I love that Dragoon has been leaning into the memes as well. He sees he got all these good games, but we're really losing to this. We're losing to this 128 hours, right? Okay, I got a stat coming out for when he was talking to Destrux, another Baldur's Gate enjoyer. Destrux had nearly twice the number of hours, and Dragoon said that is 40% of the total time since it was released. You know what that means?
20.
This is 20% of the time since it was released has been spent by Dragoon playing this game. That doesn't leave a whole lot of time to practice for League of Legends.
Hey, I don't know, because whatever he's doing in this game...
It's working.
It's working. It is working, simply put. So, hey, if that's what he's going to be able to show us yesterday, I'm excited then going into today's match. Of course, this is still going to be upset territory if LiT Esports is able to take this, but I'm excited to see what they got going up against Team Fish Taco as our draft is ready, and it's time to send you two away.
All right, let us get into our second series of the day and find out who is going to face off against Supernova in the qualification matchup. Josh, what is it?
Twitch chat, I see people saying 128 is a lot. Oh, I'm 170. I have 3,000 hours. Like, guys, then why aren't you in the Challengers League at this point? Like,
yeah,
we've clearly seen a correlation going on between these. But as we get into it, Team Fish Taco, they are going to be banning away Dragoon's Darius this time around. You got the Zeri, you got the Zaya coming through at the same time. But that does mean that the Maokai continue to be one of the highest presence champions in the entire league. 57% win rate this time going over to Kisno.
Yeah, and the one that actually kind of stands out to me is this Azir banned away from messages. I think that was also something that was a big factor of why LiT was able to beat Mirage. His messages in both games was able to play this Azir and kind of keep Sudsy in place. Not really win the lane against them, but not really lose, and then create a lot of space for the rest of the team. Got to play around Rock Boom and Dragoon. So not having that here, I think, is going to be a big thing for LiT Esports. But, ooh, Team Fish Taco, they're firing right now. Lunasia's Jax, Onat on to Jace.
Dude, they're trying to rizz up this game super hard. I'm already feeling it coming through. Lunasia just coming back from his time abroad, playing one of his best champions, and this champion has only gotten better as we've gone through a couple of patches since then. This is going to be an absolute terror for anything that Dragoon wants to bring into the table now. And Onat on the Jace, not a character we've seen from him nearly as much, right? Despite how meta it was during the summer split, Onat was not a player that we got to see this character brought all the time. But we do have to look at what Team Fish Taco are going to be doing. They have enough damage. Now they need to find ways to get into the fight, and that is going to be entirely on Rosethorn and NXI from this position. And NXI, one of the best rels we've had in the split, but probably not going to be able to pick. It should be getting banned away.
Okay, so this might be wild. Does Dragoon play Alawi here?
He can.
I know.
Does he?
It's Dragoon. It's Dragoon.
Every player will always talk about how they have things cooked up. They have different pocket picks ready to go, but you never really know what they are because, like, well, you know, you got this X, Y, and Z kind of things we got to go. And I'm curious if LiT was even prepping for Team Fish Taco.
It's Dragoon. That's the only reason why I ask this. Dragoon is an Alawi player, and I don't know why. This is kind of screaming Alawi angle to me.
Yeah, I would be super down for it. The biggest question is, you know, did LiT miss a ban? What is going to be coming out from them?
I was asking about that as well.
Well, we'll find out. It is confirmed that missing ban is a Lilia ban taken away from Rosethorn. Now, I believe I had heard that was something that Team Fish Taco had been experiencing with in particular over the break, but we'll see if it ever comes about. It was one of those things that I had heard whisperings from different teams as things to be actually playing, but the Lucian...
Is that a mid lane Lucian?
Almost for sure. You don't want to be playing that into Jax.
You're not playing that into Jax. Interesting. I mean, this is kind of what I was wondering with messages, not having that Azir. What was going to be the follow-up here for LiT Esports? And when you have that Maokai showing, yeah, you can flex it and have more of the magic damage come in from the Leandri's Anguish, the Demonic Embrace build of a Maokai, sure. But they are kind of lacking on the magic department here. And that same thing can be said for Team Fish Taco. The fact that they show this Jax, the Jace, and Zeri already and lock in this Ivern for the team to kind of give more of a supportive angle for Rosethorn is very interesting for both teams.
This is a really odd draft coming out from Team Fish Taco, right? We were saying that they really need to find ways to get in, but instead they're really trying to opt into the poke that is going to be coming out from Onat. But I don't know if they have the freest opportunity to really do that. Wait, is that
top lane Maokai?
It could be.
Or top lane, or oh my goodness.
Weird, okay.
No.
No. Yeah. All right, it's lit. It's lit. Now, the last time that we actually got to see Dragoon playing this Nasus, they won, and literally everybody on the team started posting dog memes immediately afterwards.
Yep.
Different Nasus lines coming through. I can't wait to see what it is that Dragoon can do on this, because it's such a classic matchup that Nasus has opportunities to do. And this is going to be one of the best opportunities for LiT to throw surprises at Team Fish Taco, take them down relatively early on. If they can build that lead right off the gate, we've already said they're playing with no issues. If they lose, if they get knocked out, darn, right? People were not expecting them to do particularly well in this event, but if they find this win here, I think that is going to be the thing that will really propel them to potentially qualify for Challengers League.
I mean, they have 2 chances at that point. Whoever wins this one goes up against Supernova, and the winner of that will qualify, while the loser still has a second chance to qualify. And like you said, for LiT Esports, there just weren't that expectations for this team. This is a team that people argued, said, hey, do they even deserve to be here? Well, I think after that victory over Mirage Alliance, they have shown that they deserve to be here. They deserve to be competing in the promotion tournament. And now they go up against Team Fish Taco to try to get into the qualifying match.
And interestingly enough, Dragoon also picking up the Airy.
Interesting. Now, AP?
It must be, I mean, it could be an Emax. Regardless, you do see the Doran's Ring as well coming through, so a lot of pressure going to be getting put down onto Lunacia up in the top side of the map to try and limit them. We can't forget that Nasus was not just considered a counter pick to a lot of the top lane, it was also considered a counter pick to Zeri, because Wither is bonkers. You just sit there and suddenly Spawn will not be able to move during the fight at all, and so
move or Q.
move or Q. That's true. Like, you just can't do anything on that champion. So Dragoon, I really like this Nasus coming through. It looks very prepared coming out from the side of LiT Esports. And Team Fish Taco, I mean, we heard a little bit from Onat before. They were not particularly happy about the fact that they're even here.
Well, Onat takes punish there in the mid lane from both Messages and Plucks. Going to be forced to recall early on, which means this level 2 is going to favor LiT, but Plucks doesn't realize that now he's been put in a bad spot. Tries to Spider-Man his way out, but he's stunned up by NXI and Spawn. Holding on to the flash the best he can. Kind of waiting, finally flashes out, but gets hit by the Winter's Bite and dies to first blood out of Team Fish Taco.
Oh, that's brutal coming through. The Brahm's so good at level 1, the slows into the stuns, and now Team Fish Taco, we get to walk down a bottom lane with a first blood coming out for Spawn. Again, we would set up today to talk about the top laners for basically every single team. But you gotta remember that Rockboom, one of the most exciting players in this event that we had not seen before, and going up against Spawn, one of the players on this team that has had opportunities to play at the highest level in LCS, and has been looking so good so far through their tenure on Team Fish Taco, with how much more aggression they have built up over their tenure here.
Yeah, and it is going to be difficult now for LiT. Though Rockboom did get a lot of alone time in this bot lane because it was Spawn and NXI trying to set up that trap on a Plex. Do end up getting the kill, but it's not like they could go back to base to kind of spend that gold so they can gain these advantages. Instead, it is going to be LiT kind of winning out on the bot lane for at least some time.
Yeah. But it is worth noting, as Cavalry is always fast to bring up, Nautilus is unplayable into Braum. It is so hard to try and play this champion, but at the same time, up here in the top lane, Dragoon,
speaking of unplayable,
very low, and he has not even started pushing with his E yet. It is so tough for a lot of top laners to even try and play this every single time, because it's basically uninteractable every single time you throw down the E here from Nasus.
Yeah, just anytime Lunacia tries to go clear out the farm, that's when he's just like, all right, E, there you go. Put this down. You're going to take a lot of damage initially, the burn afterwards, but he is going to get visited early by Rosalind. The flash coming in from Lunacia, looking for this kill. The shield should help him out. Dragoon, there's no out. It's only a kill for Lunacia.
A much needed gank coming out from Rosar to try and help out the top side of the map.
Right now, a little bit of a skirmish in the bot lane. Rockboom against Spawn, and NXI nearly was able to take him down, but he's got to be careful. The concussive blows coming in from NXI. But NXI getting a lot of damage back onto Plex, was trying to get the stun onto him. Not going to happen. It is going to still be LiT, though. Struggling a little bit here early into the game, and I hear we actually have nice shot from Dragoon, kind of talking about how confident they were about winning the game, but also what he thinks about losing to LiT Esports in this tournament.
I mean, I've said it before, but like, it's just sad if you lose to us just because I just have not been playing the game. I've been playing Baldur's Gate, man. If you lose to me, how cringe is that? I haven't played a solo queue game in like 3 weeks. Like, come on.
Come on. I love talking to Dragoon, man. So animated. But another fight.
Oh, another fight bot lane. Rockboom flashing forward the ignite. We'll pick up a kill. LiT do finally get themselves on the board, and it's through the spot lane where initially, after that first play from Spawn and NXI, it seemed like maybe the bot lane was going to heavily be favored for that of Team Fish Taco, but Rockboom and Plux are playing very well in the spot lane.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the fact that Spawn started with the first blood hasn't helped them because they haven't had an opportunity to spend. And as you were talking about before, Alex, they are not able to get the experience advantage. We're doing so much in these early levels. And Rockboom finding that assist at the very least by getting the last
Oh, but got to be careful because they got the gust of blows. And Rockboom, I just played a little bit too greedy there, looking for a little bit of damage. Plux putting himself out in danger, saying, all right, I gotta save Rockboom. This game is all reliant around the ADC getting ahead. The longer I can distract them, the better.
Okay, well, at least we did get to see the gold go over here to Spawn. So when they push this wave back out, they will recover a little bit of their farm. But the big thing that we got to see is because they've been pushed off yet another wave, it is so tough for them to try and do anything in this position. And Rosethorn, so difficult to get any of these camps from right underneath his opponent's nose.
As now going back to the top lane though, Dragoon is, after that gank earlier from Rosethorn to get the kill for Lunacia, is now starting to struggle a bit in this matchup. Is still able to kind of poke out Lunacia anytime tries to dash forward, but now that experience lead is going to favor this Jax and make it really difficult because early on into the game when you play for this clear out the wave, AP Nasus build, it is about making sure that your opponent just doesn't get ahead. Well, unfortunately, that just hasn't really happened.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, Nasus will still be a little bit relevant. The thing about AP versions of Nasus or Emax versions of Nasus that differs from traditional Nasus is Emax has a much flatter curve, right? You tend to be stronger early on in the game, but your peak around like level 9 when you finish your Trinity Force item or your Sheen item, whichever one, if you go Divine Sunder or whatever, is nowhere near as strong. And so the fact that Dragoon is already a little bit committed to this style of play and is not currently ahead makes the threat come from this Nasus much less exciting. It instead is going to be about being a blocker, a counter card, a trap card, if you will, to try and prevent Spawn from getting out of control.
Exactly, because that is the other part, the other facet of having Nasus on your team, and why for a short time then there when Zeri was like really dominating the meta, we even saw the support Nasus purely because it was a counter to Zeri, as you were talking about, just put that wither on her and be like, all right, not only can you not move, but no longer can you Q and get the damage that you want. That's something that Dragoon's gonna really have to try to pivot himself into. But then that means you're kind of not doing anything to Lunacia. And we were talking about Lunacia and how important he has been for not just Team Fish Taco, but back when he was on Fly Fam and being one of those big surprise factors for everyone back in spring.
You always want to have all these opportunities to be those surprises. But right now, I do also want to see LiT try and get Dragoon into position of power because we did see Rosethorn go up. Uh-oh.
Messages. He's got no way out. Nice play there from Onat and Rosethorn.
Yeah, good stuff. I still really want to see them try and put Dragoon into a powerful position, right? We know that Rockboom has been a crucial member of LiT ever since they joined, and we do have to note that several of the players for LiT Esports ended up leaving in the middle of the qualifiers, which meant that Rockboom did have to come in as a substitute. And it took them a little while to actually figure out how to integrate these new members of the team, but the fact they've made it here, they have been looking quite strong so far, and they do need to be very careful, though, with NXI still looking for an opportunity to push them away.
Especially because they did have Rosethorn there, but Daisy, now having expired, makes it a little bit less likely that they're actually going to make this play in the bot lane. And all the while, Disno has been kind of just farming up away, just going, all right, what else can I take on the map? He's got that first dragon earlier into the game. Now he's gotten himself the Eye of the Rift Herald. All the while, all that time from Rosethorn, even though they did get the play mid lane, got nothing in bot lane.
Yeah. This is where like all my friends would be, they're losing so much top. They're losing so much top. I'm hitting the Rift Herald. Don't do anything, guys. We can't be losing right now. And that honestly, that's pretty much exactly what happens. Now, the big thing here is Lunacia does still need to be careful, because even though Dragoon is a little bit behind, Nasus's big spike is coming soon. Right? When Nasus is at the most powerful is happening in the next couple of minutes, and even though Lunacia has a lead, I have seen Nasus solo kill people way further ahead than this. So it's a very tough position for Lunacia for a little while, and it's really what I would love to see Kisno and Messages move top to try and exacerbate that lead.
It's also one of those things, people kind of disrespect the damage that Nasus can do, not only just with the E, but his ult too. And as
Everfrost?
I was about to comment on that as well. I'm like, is that Everfrost or is it Crown? I can't tell.
There's no way it's Crown, right? Either way, though.
You're getting the pull onto Plex. Plex taking up a lot of that attention, though. Not going to get knocked into the air by Daisy. Instead, he's going to be able to peel back off for now. But this is a lot of control. Team Fish Taco are getting around this bottom quadrant of the map, where just now had put a lot of that attention on the top side after having gotten the Rift Herald. Bot lane, we talked about it before. It's that early play from Spawn and NXI. They got that first blood for themselves, getting the second kill as well from Spawn. Well, he's come back into lane and now has that static shiv. But top lane, a little bit of a skirmish happening back and forth between Lunacia and Dragoon. This is still the problem you're going to have is Jax facing off against Dragoon on that Nasus. You don't have the best kill threat until he runs out of his dominance. Getting the flash, though, is going to be a nice start.
Yeah, I mean, that should be enough, right? Dragoon is really going to struggle to stay here every single time the Sheen proc is available for Lunacia. Dragoon has to be so careful at the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, we got to go bot lane because that's a kill for Rockboom, and it looks like NXI, he's fallen, and I loved what Kisno was doing there. We got to see on the minimap. He was making sure that there was just no escape for NXI, giving more gold over to Rockboom. The player that we were highlighting, yes, Dragoon playing the Nasus, very exciting, but Rockboom has been one of the most exciting players here to join in with LiT and been one of the big surprise factors of the team during the promotion tournament and the open qualifiers.
And honestly, great stuff coming out from LiT just in general, right? Making sure that this play does end up working out. They know that Team Fish Taco have been trying to be aggressive, and as soon as they jump in, it's the opportunity to turn things around. Enough crowd control is there. Nowhere for Spawn to go at all, even with the cleanse. Flash still available, and like you said, Kisno just making sure that it goes over to the person who benefits the most from all of this money, giving all the assists over anyway, and that means that one of the most exciting rookies now also has some of the most exciting gold in the game, and the rest of the team just needs to make sure that they can protect them. They have the tools to try and limit the dive.
I love that story of Rockboom that we heard earlier, where it was St. Clair kind of giving him that opportunity when nobody else would. And that's how he really got his foothold into the competitive scene, where people started realizing who he was as a player. Then with Rock Bottom Esports getting second place in the qualifiers, the second part of the qualifiers for Spring, that surprised a lot of people going into it. And now seeing him halfway through the summer join in, but Dragoon trying to get away. Okay, he will die, unfortunately, in the solo bolo there from Lunacia.
Okay, at the same time, though, as we are seeing Rockboom start to get ahead, the top lane is falling apart. Lunacia, one of the solo kill kings of the Challengers League, finding another one in Spawn.
Nice pull back, and there's no way you're getting out of this one, Spawn. Waiting for Rockboom to pick up another kill, a killing spree. As NXI, he'll limp away, but the win is there for LiT Esports in the bot lane.
Shout out yet again to Rockboom. Do you see the way that he moved around to make sure he wasn't hitting NXI's shield? It's the little things, right? He is clearly thinking, he's not panicking during these fights, and those are some of the biggest qualities I always look for in upcoming players. Does he do the things? Is he holding abilities? Is he making sure that everything he does has the biggest impact? With Rockboom, the answer is consistently yes. So, as we start to look at the rest of this game, because the gold is still relatively even, we have to see where the power is. One, LiT Esports, it's all in the bottom lane, right? Rockboom is how you live and die. On the other side, you have a little bit of options. You have Spawn, who is doing fine, right, on this area. He will eventually be an important member of the team later, but Lunacia is already there. And Dragoon, because he's going with the Everfrost, doesn't have the big spike right now where he could try and wrest control away from Lunacia. He's instead going to be relegated to like, well, I can press E and hold these waves for a little while.
He's pretty much, I don't lose the turret. I don't lose the turret, and eventually I join up with the team, and that's when I find myself powerful, right, Josh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, powerful is like...
Powerful, Josh! Powerful!
Well, we'll see. I mean, we have heard that Dragoon's favorite class to play is a Sorlock. You know, a Sorcerer, Warlock multi-class. But we'll see what they end up doing from there. Because right now, LiT Esports is and have been losing control of their side of the jungle for a while. And now Rostar and NXI, a former jungler, moving together to try and take more control of LiT's jungle.
It's also kind of funny. We never really talked about this, but Onat did play with Kisno and Dragoon on that Supernova squad. They promoted together. And it's now Onat on the other side trying to fight against them. But look at how they're able to blow up NXI here as Onat kind of a little bit too late to the party. Not able to really do anything to kind of back up what LiT Esports just accomplished here in the bot lane. But Dragoon is still struggling in the top lane against Lunacia, who's now got the experience lead over him.
Yeah. And with the Divine Sunder, it can really heal off of a lot of the poke that Dragoon is going to be trying to put into the game. Unfortunately, it does look as though this NASA is unlikely to pay dividends, even though he's got that dog in him here. It is still opportunities for LiT to move around the map, and when they have access to Kisno's ultimate, they can really try and chase a lot of members down, and it looks like they are going to be waiting for that to potentially play around this upcoming hub.
I'm telling you, the idea here for Dragoon is you're not going to like me later in the game when I just push my W on spawn.
Well, I have copy posters ready for him to do something cool. They just haven't happened yet.
It's gonna. The cool thing is he's pushing one ability on Zeri, and Zeri's now useless.
Yeah. Well, if he can do that, right? That's always going to be the big question, as we do have the Riptail getting started up. Flux trying to find his way in.
Oh, look at Dragoon on the other side, though. Trying to get a little bit of pressure, get a little bit of attention.
Where's
all the
Onat?
while. Messages isn't there either. Onat has that TP if he wants to join in. The pull not going to connect. The Rift Herald so low. Do they try to go in? That's going to be the TP coming in, getting a lot of damage on NXI. Trying to go for the pull. They're going to be able to get the kill. NXI low. Going to be the first casualty. There goes Lunacia too. The fight in. LiT Esports. They can't stop them. Baldur's Gate doesn't matter. League of Legends is their game as they're taking down one of our NACL teams.
Oh boy, call me Naz. Is the way I bark when I'm with her, man. You see how much armor shred he had in that fight? He was doing so much work for his double 80 carries. Absolute destruction coming through here from LiT, and just this pincer coming in from both sides. Impossible for Team Fish Taco to deal with. They try and get themselves right back on into the choke so that they can get their front line together. But the way that they get the damage down, they're getting so much armor shred across, and as soon as they isolate these members of the front line and prevent them from grouping up with the actual damage dealers on their squad, meant that there was nothing left to do.
The fact how fast Lunacia died in that fight too kind of blows my mind and shows just how much damage Rock Boom is doing right now on this side. The flash that he had with the Feather Call to lock down the Jax. And you get look at that! Look at that subway damage to help last team fight. There's no damage, literally zero from Lunacia.
Yeah, unfortunately, just never able to get in, right? The Wither just always there, making sure that Lunacia cannot participate. And that's the other thing, right? I actually really want to see Lunacia go for a hole breaker and split off to the side. For all of his strengths as a laner, he hasn't necessarily been the best team fighter, but you can get this dive off.
At least they're going to attempt to, but you have that ult still there for the dog. And he's looking for that. Frost's not going to be able to get the root. Now pulling up another contender. There's going to be the ult coming in. They're bouncing him around for a long time, but he got a lot of attention. NXI barely going to be able to limp away from that one.
Yeah, but it works at the end of the day, and we get a dragon in exchange for this top side turret. Dragoon buying a lot of time, but it will be a trade across the board at the end of it.
We see the top lane turret. I don't know if it's even a trade. I think that it's LiT
trading top lane turret.
Yeah, you get a top lane turret for a mid-tier one and the dragon. LiT Esports, I think, are coming out ahead.
Just because it's not a good trade deal does not make it not a trade deal.
You know, you got a point.
You know, we played enough board games together at this point to have an idea of how that works.
You got a point there. I can't argue with you on that one.
But either way, as we continue to move forward, right, it is still LiT coming out with a bit of a lead. And with how well LiT have played so far in this promotion tournament, I've become very excited for this team's prospects, right? The big thing is that this team had a decent, okay time in the qualifiers, right? In order to even find their way here. They are the only team that didn't have their future in their own hands. They were waiting to see if Team Coachify was going to win the second qualifier. And, well, And because Coachify didn't, it allowed LiT to even get here. There were arguments that maybe they shouldn't have even had as many points as they did, but the fact that they have beaten Mirage Alliance and are now up this much going up against Team Fish Taco, yeah, it gives us reason to say they have earned their spot here. They have a chance to actually qualify.
Yeah, I no longer want to hear that from people being like, no, this
Yeah,
team
looking
should've
at
been
you,
here.
Mr. Battery.
Yeah, looking at you, Dimitri. We're calling you out here because right now, LiT, the 2-0 domination yesterday. You're looking at this. Rock Boom really is this player that I just want to continue to praise on how he has been looking in the promotion tournament. Even we got to see glimpses of it in the open qualifiers. But as you talked about before, Josh, it's hard to fully grasp how good of a player he was during that time because he had been brought in halfway during them. So it wasn't like he had the synergy with the team. Now, he's got that practice. He's got the synergy. He knows these players and all of this teammates and how to play around them.
You have to remember that Rockboom's story, in order to even get here as well, was one where he's, that meme of like, oh, I'm already retired, man. I can't go back for one last job. He was sitting on a beach.
Yep.
He was having the time of his life, and then he's like, country needs you, and now they need you again.
Pulled back into a fight that I didn't want, but it's looking like one they're going to take anyways. They get a lot of damage. The dive back in, but up in the air he goes. Then you got to be careful. Lunacia, the flash away. They couldn't get on a Rock Boom. Still alive, throwing out them feathers at Jax as he's withered. He's slowed down, trying to get back in with the counter strike, but he doesn't have the leap strike to do it. It instead is going to be LiT still coming out ahead.
I am shocked that we only had one death through that entire fight, right? So many people getting low, so many people having to use their summoners to try and make sure they are alive, but at the end of it, we recognize Rock Boom is going to be the only player at this upcoming fight who will not have Flash or Hex Flash. I know, Alex, I can read the screen too.
Thank you.
But that means that Rock Boom is going to be under a lot of threat. We have seen Lunacia have opportunities to get on top of him, and while we know that Rock Boom has been doing a fantastic job, he is their primary damage dealer right now. Messages does have money, but he's not close to 3 items like this Zaya is. Messages can do quite a bit of work, but it's going to be about how well LiT can present their front line and make sure that Rock Boom is never under threat.
I think the biggest thing is, too, Rock Boom still does not have that ult available. As long as they can wait for him to have the Feather Storm back up, they'll have that ability to play around him and to peel back. So it's just a couple more seconds until that's going to be the case. And as they wait it out, LiT are just confident, waiting out the game, slowly, biding their time as they get a little bit of control around Baron.
As I start to move around, remember that they are playing a double marksman composition. They can do quite a bit of damage to this very, very quickly. So the one player that I do kind of want to look at for Team Fish Taco who can still have an outsized impact that we have not yet seen.
Onat?
Onat. Yes. Onat on this Jace, on the 2 items. Now that is when the poke starts to really start mattering in the game. He actually has a lot of damage. He will probably 3-shot most of the relatively squishy members. Messages and Rock Boom can probably take 3 accelerated shock blasts before they're just dead. And they also don't have... Okay, maybe not. That was much less damage than I expected.
Yeah, me too.
But Rock Boom also doesn't yet have the Bloodthirster completed. The damage will stick as long as Onat is actually landing it.
True. We got to see him land those. Hitting one right there.
That's 2.
That's 2. Hitting Rock Boom pretty low, but still can heal up a little bit. Flux wanted to go for that engage. They want to try to start this off because they see that Lunacia is nowhere nearby. Instead, they're trying to get the fight. But look at him going to Rock Boom. He has to go into the air, but you got to be careful. Look at Lunacia. He's there. And you cannot escape there, Rock Boom. But instead, it's going to be Messages. Now, relying on the mid lane carry. Triple kill for this Lucian as Lunacia has cut off the wave. But he has to dash away because he knows he can't fight 4v1.
Oh man, Lunacia, he's still thinking about it.
He wants it so bad.
He wants it so bad. If Rosethorn can get here, there's a really crazy opportunity, but not going to try and make that one happen. As long as the Wither is available, Dragoon presents too much threat to anybody. And we did see they took down Rock Boom in that last fight, but we also saw it didn't matter. It took them way too long to make it actually happen. And Onat, even though he's landing all these super crucial shock blasts, hitting Rock Boom left Messages completely untouched in this fight. So as we take another look at it, Team Fish Taco, they'll huddle together like a bunch of barnacles, and then they get absolutely annihilated. by all of the daisy damage coming through, right? Everything that they were able to do, not daisy, but all the damage coming through from Dragoon, from messages as they run on in and just chase all these members down.
The problem with the double carry composition that LiT are running for anybody facing off against them is you focus on one of them while the other one's still free firing. And now, if you are Team Fish Taco, it's who do you really want to focus on more, Rock Boom or Messages? You got to choose one because you're not bursting both of them quickly enough.
It's honestly a crazy situation. It's like, well, I guess the answer has to be Rock Boom, right? Because he's on 3 items. But now Team Fish Taco, they're starting to hit the Baron.
It's been spotted out though. They have full knowledge. They were able to use the blue trinket on it. So here comes the TB in from Dragoon. Message is on the side, but it's going to be Team Fish Taco peeling back. The pull back in onto Lunacia, trying to get a little bit of damage, but into the counter strike he goes. Get into the sun, auto pluck. Now they've got the dangerous grasp. And Lunacia, you're a lot squishier than you realize. The pull back in, the damage coming in from LiT. Doing it once more. They've upset once, and they want to upset twice here against Team Fish Taco. But 2 dead on Team Fish Taco. The 2 solo laners. LiT go on to the Baron.
And LiT is playing with so much confidence. They are looking so good in this one. Yet again, you got to see what they are able to do as soon as Lunacia's counter-strike is down. They jump on top of him. They burst him out before the fight even really begins. And we can see the difference that's coming in. We know Team Fish Taco, they were not happy about having to play in this. We have heard from members of their camp that the morale has not been great for this organization. But on the other side, LiT, we got to hear from Rockboom yesterday. We got to hear from Dragoon before the series even began. These guys are fired up. They have nothing to lose. They can play. They can do whatever they want. And so far, they're getting ready to take down a Challengers team that has been the 2nd seed in the tournament, and also the team that a lot of people are saying might be the #1 seed in actuality in Mirage, and they are taking them both down cleanly.
They took down Mirage with 4 former players from the Challengers League themselves. Now they have the Turo Baron buff here against Team Fish Taco, a team that was in the Challengers League in summer. As Lunacia, he realized that he was in danger. He goes golden only to delay the inevitable. He even jumps away, but more gold funneled over to LiT.
LiT, they pick up the structure. The Turo Baron buff is still running. They have so much more time to pick up even more across the board. They are driving down the top lane, and they're sending someone back. Looks like it's going to be Dragoon to try and stop Onat in his tracks, but they even give Rockboom the solo gold on this structure. That is a lot of trust being put into this player. That is so much belief that they have found the right players to actually go through with. And now, the big question is going to be, how do LiT close this one out? There's 2 minutes left before the next dragon spawns. That will be the Cloud Soul coming through from them. And I gotta say, you give Cloud Soul to this team, it is so scary how quickly they will zoom around the map and how important it is for them to actually stick to the members of Team Fish Taco.
I mean, things look a lot faster too when you're in slow-mo, right? Everything looks like it's going supersonic speed, and then you get withered and you're like, oh god, now it's even worse.
I'm gonna be honest, Alex, can't see.
Can't see? That's unfortunate. Well, good thing you didn't want to see that anyways. Thorn, he was trying to go for an odd invade, had to flash away. And now, Team Fish Taco, 27 minutes into the game. You just let me know when you see, by the way, Josh. 27,
I'm back.
Okay, good. I was going to continue talking until you told me to shut up.
Okay, well, you said that Rose Thorn got caught. I do see that his flash is down now, so, you know, small loss coming through for Team Fish Taco, but now we are at a spot where LiT, with 50 seconds left before the next dragon, they are getting ready to set up. The only threat that they currently have is the fact that Lunacia is up on the top side of the map, and hey, Dragoon, well, he will slowly lose the split push. He will lose it slowly. Right,
yes.
And that is the biggest thing. It'll take a lot of time for Lunacia to actually get through into the base, especially with this Baron buff. And now Message coming back too. They're trying to kill him.
Yeah, they're just looking to stop not just the push itself, but to actually stop the champion. They're even
so
chasing
fast.
this. Dragon's like, hey, come back here. Get back here. But it's like my dog, anytime someone walks past the house, right? Just barking at him, chasing him away, but really has no threat.
But this is interesting, right? They are going to be sending Dragoon to join the rest of the team. Yes, they are very good against Zarya. There's an opportunity for Lunacia to say, I'm going to try and open up the base. They bought a little bit of time, but Lunacia backing away. He wants to go for the team fight.
He wants to join in, and with Rockboom having to heal up from the minions in the mid lane, would have given Team Fish Taco a window to look for that play, especially now that Lunacia has gone back and got himself that Zonias for that added safety when he dives in.
I mean, and then the team leaves.
That's the
right.
tragic part.
That's the tragic part. They needed to communicate if Lunacia was going to back away there. Then they actually need to go for a 5, but if they're going to back away for 5, then Lunacia needs to stay top lane. Unfortunately... Alright, he's fine.
Yeah,
it's like a chihuahua right now, right? He doesn't do any damage.
Exactly. Like, look at how little damage he actually does to Lunacia. It's really going to be Rock Boom. That's going to be the bigger problem as you get dragged in with the Dredge Line. That's the one who does all the damage. That's not the dog that you have to fear. It's the owner himself. Beware, as now you're chased into your base. Team Fish Taco, LiT Esports, let them be known. No longer are they the ones that are the upset team. The team that nobody expected. They have to be the favorites, taking game 1 convincingly over a Challengers League team.
And honestly, it was clean across the board. It didn't really matter. There was no real way for Team Fish Taco to get into this game. The only time it looked like they were winning was before the laning phase even started, when they got the first blood. And ever since then, it has been LiT top to bottom, every single role outperforming them. And this looks as though LiT is going to be cruising to the qualification match if we see another game like this.
3 games in a row, they have dominated the competition, and in 3 games, they were the underdogs in each one of them. Everyone's saying, there's no reason this team should be here. They are the team that, we're playing other games. We're not really focused on it. If you took the nameplates off, if I was just looking at how these teams perform, I would not think that. I would think that LiT were the favorites of every team from the open qualifiers, because that is how convincing they have been playing.
I can't wait to see more, right? The way that LiT Esports has been playing, I think back to when we had our last promotion tournament, and we had our predictions as to who was going to get through it, and basically nobody. Maybe you, Alex, you know, maybe you were right, but from this position, it is such a crazy spot to see that LiT, who a lot of the people who were saying we shouldn't even necessarily think about how this team is going to get through Mirage Alliance, because they're not going to. Now they're 1-0 up against the Challengers League team yet again. These guys are the real deal. Let's give them some respect.
You have to give this team respect. They are the team that has been upsetting everybody and now are 1 game away from a qualification matchup. But before we toss to a break, I do want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of the Challengers League, Turo. Without Turo, there would not be the Challengers League. Thank you to Turo for everything they do in sponsoring the LCS Challengers League. If you want to get yourself an awesome car rental, go over to Turo.com and you can have some awesome car. Forget about boring rentals. That's where you go, Turo.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this game. We still have more, as well as our Subway halftime refresh with Sierra. So make sure you stay tuned for more League of Legends.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.
Subway refreshed their ingredients, their menu, and now they're slicing their meats fresh. That's why their new Subway Series subs are preferred by this champ.
And this future champ. Pros who are talking heads prefer fresh sliced turkey.
And pros who use their heads prefer fresh sliced ham.
More deli meats are preferred by this QB.
And preferred by his old backup QB.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Is this slice as good as your tennis slice?
I can't answer that, but yes.